Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton from Massachusetts. Lots to discuss. Let's start with where we're leaving off on the Epstein files. Do you think more of the Epstein files need to be revealed? What questions do you want answered?
Well, look, Donald Trump has been wrapped around Jeffrey Epstein's finger for decades. And so it's pretty obvious what's going on here. He doesn't want the files released. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is covering it up, undoubtedly lying about what she had or didn't have on her desk, because it's likely that Trump is somehow going to get implicated. I think we ought to know, as the American public, if the president is implicated in this heinous sex trafficking scheme. But at the end of the day, what's probably going to happen is the Republicans are going to give in to Trump. That's what they always do in these situations. At the end of the day, these conservatives are so weak that they'll probably cave to Trump on this issue, too.
Yeah, just want to clarify, though, President Trump has said that he and Epstein had a break like 15 years ago. We have all seen those pictures of them together from earlier days. Looking at how this is playing out in Congress, can you be confident that the Republicans will fall in line, though? Because we even have Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, breaking with the president on this, calling for Epstein files to be released. What does that tell you?
Oh, you mean Mike Johnson, the same guy who said he wouldn't cut Medicare after voting to take health care away from 10, 15 million Americans? So these Republicans never keep their word. That's the problem, is when it comes to loyalty to Trump versus doing the right thing, even just in their version of what the right thing is and their conservative worldview, ultra hardline, whatever you describe it as, they always give in at the end of the day. You know, we had a tough time. They had a tough time, I should say, passing this horrible, big, beautiful bill, as the Trump administration calls it, that dramatically exploded our debt. Passing a bill to our kids that cut health care for millions of Americans, all to give tax cuts to billionaires. And there was a whole bunch of Republicans who said they wouldn't do any of those things. They tried to hold out, and they lasted about 12 hours, and then they caved too. So that's probably what's going to happen here again.
Although Epstein may be different. We've heard from Marjorie Taylor Greene that this is like the one thing that, you know, has really fractured the MAGA base.
You wish they actually cared about kids' health care as much as they care about Jeffrey Epstein, or about like kids' food assistance or kids' school lunches, all of which they're cutting with their big, beautiful bill. Yeah, it would be nice if they cared about those millions of kids and not just about this case, as heinous as it is, but there you go.
It is heinous. It is heinous. And we all can agree, perhaps, you know, sunshine is the best disinfectant, so more transparency is needed, perhaps. Republican colleagues of yours have suggested maybe a special counsel should be appointed here. Take a listen to this.
Whatever they have, and I think Pam Bondi is turning it over to somebody else now, but whatever they have, it needs to be transparent. It needs to come out.
I'm big on clarity and transparency, and you know, that's good reason people don't trust government, either party.
I think moving forward, we need a special counsel. That has got to happen. There has to be a special investigation into this if we aren't going to be provided information. And so this is certainly important, and I want answers. And maybe that takes that special counsel to do so. Maybe Matt Gaetz can lead the special counsel.
Would you support a special counsel? Could that put the conspiracies to bed?
It would help. I'm sure it would help. And think about this Republican Party and all the effort they put into investigating Hunter Biden. Investigating Hunter Biden over what? Like a shady business deal, perhaps, and a gun charge that wouldn't have stood against any other American. All that resource, all those lawyers, those private investigators and everything else trying for months and months to turn up the tiniest little bit of dirt on Hunter Biden, and yet they can't even decide to appoint a special counsel here for this heinous sex criminal who died mysteriously in prison. I mean, they're total hypocrites. But yeah, I mean, they should apply the same standard, obviously. And if they care enough, they should appoint a special counsel to investigate.
Congresswoman Boebert just suggested Matt Gaetz be the special counsel.
I think there'd be a conflict of interest there.
I want to pivot to another issue in Congress, because some Republicans are now trying to reverse parts of that so-called big, beautiful bill that they voted for. For example, Senator Josh Hawley's introducing legislation that seeks to roll back the Medicaid cuts. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, that's like saying, hey, I'm going to go on a diet this afternoon and I'm going to start by eating 3 Big Macs. It's utterly ridiculous. They just voted for all these Medicare cuts. They voted despite the fact that these Medicare cuts are all the finance tax cuts for billionaires, which will cost the American taxpayer billions and billions and billions in dollars of debt that we're just going to pass on to our kids and grandkids. And the irony is that Josh Hawley is now going to make that debt even bigger, that deficit even worse, by now going back on the Medicare cuts that he used to finance these tax cuts for billionaires. If he were actually a principled leader who cared about his constituents, he'd claw back the tax cuts, not and actually, get people the health care that they need.
I have to ask you about something that I know is very important to you, the 988 National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Tomorrow, the Trump administration plans to shut down the special LGBTQI plus youth option. And federal data has showed this specialized program has served nearly 1.3 million callers in the past few years. You co-sponsored the original bill. What is the impact of this plan to pull back?
Kids are going to die. I mean, this is actually the kind of thing that Republicans should care about if they really care about American kids, because an extraordinary percentage of the people who call this lifeline in a moment of crisis say that it saved their lives. And as a veteran, I know how much it means to my fellow veterans to be able to push a button when they call 988 and get connected directly to a veterans crisis counselor, someone who's trained to deal with veterans. Well, LGBTQ kids need that too. It's been proven time and again. Their suicide rates are much higher than the rest of the population. And so this service saves lives. And again, I wish the Republicans cared about kids' lives when they're really on the line here, because sadly, more children are going to die in America because of this cut.
Congressman Seth Moulton, thanks for your perspective. Thanks for shining light. We appreciate it.